Hi everyone, James here, and today I want to talk to you about the characteristics and traits of a top performing recruiter. This is important. I think we need to know what sort of attributes and characteristics you need to have in order to be successful before you do any training. I think this makes it a good starting point. So number one kind of goes without saying, it's a bit of an obvious one, this one. Confidence. You have to be confident. You're going to be dealing with tons of new people on a daily basis. If you're the shy and retiring type and you don't like meeting new people, then recruitment's just not the one for you. Number two, which comes as a bit of a surprise to a lot of people, but you need to have the ability to carry out really good, thorough, in-depth research and analytics. So what I mean by that is you want to have a niche, so you're going to have an area of specialism that you focus on. So for me, it was working within property finance. I can tell you I'm an expert on property finance because I made it my business to really submerge myself in all of the information. I just wanted to learn. I needed to know what I was talking about to the people that I was talking to. And that's massive. That's something that's a big differentiator between an average recruiter and a top tier recruiter, if I'm honest with you. I used to read loads and loads of trade journals, they're called, like magazines about property finance and things like that. In fact, actually, I got interviewed by a couple of property finance magazines to talk about recruitment into the sector. So what happened then was people in that sector started to see me and listen to the advice that I was giving out, and I then started to become seen as an expert. That is massive because that means that customers will come to you directly rather than you having to go to them. That makes it easier, a bit more fun. Also, it's the difference between being able to charge a customer 10% and charging them 25-30%. So demonstrating your credibility by doing really good research and analytics is absolutely massive. Third on the list, we look for people who are effective communicators. Now, this is an interesting one because a lot of people think communication is just talking. Obviously a big part of communication does lie within actual just talking the same words or writing emails or texts or WhatsApp, whatever it may be. Excuse me, but without saying anything, I can communicate something to you now, like I either look like I'm having a heart attack or I look excited. So communication covers a whole broad spectrum of different kind of things, different nuances. Number three, we look for good communicators, or at least people that we can teach how to communicate, because a lot of people don't understand necessarily about body language and tone of voice and pitch and things like that. So that one's number three. The next couple kind of go hand in hand. I used to test everyone who I employed had to go through tests, and we used to have communication and research and analytics. Communication number two, most important, as you know, and number one was research and analytics, and they were our two primary traits that we look for, but then we had a load of secondary ones as well. So these make up the wish list and really nice to have. But speaking from experience, I can tell you now, the next ones, they do kind of go hand in hand, but they're all well worthwhile. If you can do this, then you'll be successful. So you have to have resilience. I call it bounce back ability. Basically, if you have someone who's going for an interview, they don't get it, and you've been thinking all day, oh yeah, they're going to get that job, I'm going to make loads of money off it, and then they don't, and you're gutted, licking your wounds. The bounce back ability factor is, look, how short can you make that period of time in where you're down, so to speak. Resilience is huge in this job because you will get setbacks. That's one of the things that happens, but if you can manage it properly, it's mega. I once lost 2 placements on the same day when I first started my first company in 2015, and they were 15 grand each. So in the space of like 2 hours, I lost 30k, and all my team were looking at me. We only had about 5 people in the business at the time, and my team were looking at me like, "Are you not gutted?" And I was, "Well, what's the point? It's too late. So no point in crying over spilt milk. It's spilt. Just clean it up and move on." It's massive. That'll definitely set you out if you can be resilient. Similarly to that, you need to have determination. A good example would be if you want to say you've got a candidate and you want to put them into a business that you think is a good match for them, but that you don't recruit for that business at the minute. First off, you'll do your research and analytics, which is, we already know you're good at doing. So you'll then identify who the right people are to go to target within the businesses. but then you're probably going to get a knockback depending on how you approach it, and we'll talk about that as well in a different session. But if you have determination, so that if just you know the first step you take might be unsuccessful, but if you're determined and you've got a bit of grit about you, then the chances are you're going to go again. You're going to take another shot. You're going to miss all the shots that you don't take, so you're going to have to take some shots. So if you've got the grit and determination, perseverance, these are massive attributes that will set you in good stead for a very successful career within the industry. And then the final kind of part for me, and what's made me successful, has been the ability to step back and look at the bigger picture. So lots of people within recruitment chase a quick buck. Yes, you can make tons of money doing this, but if you just chase the quick buck, you won't win over the long term. And you might do all right. You might make a little bit of money for a year or two, but really, it's like in your second and third year and so on that you start making the real big bucks. And I guarantee to you that the money you'll make in the later years, if you look at the bigger picture and play the long game, will far outweigh a little bit of extra money that you could maybe make in the short term. So look at the bigger picture. Make sure that you're being honourable, act with integrity. You need to be able to put a customer before you. So don't just think, oh yeah, I want to place this person in a role so I can make tons of cash. What you should be doing is putting the service level first. By doing that, the money follows. So again, it goes back to looking at the bigger picture. But the way that I've been so successful has been literally a case of put customers first and me second, and then at that point it falls in because it's more sincere, it's more genuine, and you know what, it's a nicer way of working as well. So there's my attributes kind of quick session for you guys. I'll see you in the next one.